Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the next game in the 1987 American League replay. This is the final game on April the 29th. We are at game number 144 of the entire season. Of probably over 1,000 once we all get done. And it's the Milwaukee Brewers and the Oakland Athletics. These are the two teams that are leading their respective divisions. So, good matchup. You wouldn't think in the beginning of the season it'd be a great matchup, but right now it kind of is a good matchup. And the starting pitchers, we have Teddy Higuera of the Brewers and Eric Plunk of the Oakland A's. So Oakland and Milwaukee. One note is in this game in real world, Paul Molitor pulled a hamstring after he hit a home run going through his home run trot. So he will go on the injured list, or what they called the disabled list back then, after this game. So this will be the last game for Paul Molitor for about a month. And that's why Milwaukee tanked in the month of May, which is why I think Paul Molitor should have won the 1987 MVP award instead of, I think it went to George Bell, but to me, Paul Molitor was the MVP. Because had he not gotten hurt, Milwaukee would have easily won the American League East, in my opinion. But like I said, just my opinion. All right, so look at the ballpark effects in Oakland. Not very good. Singles are 1 to 3, home runs 1 to 5, so nothing great there. Again, Milwaukee enters 14 and 5, first in the AL East. Oakland's 15 and 6, first in the AL West. Eric Plunk comes into the game with a record of 1 and 1. Teddy Higuera comes into the game with a record of 2 and 1. Pitcher catcher quotients +3 for Plunk. He is a +3, and Steinbach's a 0 for a +3. Schroeder's a +1, but Higuera's a -1, so we get a net 0 there. Wild pitch and balks for Plunk, it's 11 for wild pitch, 8 for balks. Higuera is 3 and 3. And for the catchers, the T rating on Steinbach's a T8, the pass ball is a 7. T rating for Schroeder is a 2, the pass ball is a 2. All right, so we are ready to get this game underway. Get the complete numbers on Plunk so far. He's 1 and 1 with a 3.68 earned run average, 22 innings pitched, 16 hits, 19 walks, and 20 strikeouts. And there is a good picture of Eric Plunk. In case you don't know anything about Eric Plunk, there he is. So Eric Plunk, the right-hander, will be on the mound, finishing up the warm-up tosses against Paul Molitor. And it was his second at-bat of the game that he did that, but I'm going to let him finish the game. I'm not going to, pull him after 2 at-bats. I think that would be a little bit, too, because if I didn't know that, I wouldn't have known to pull him anyway, so I'm not going to, do all that. We're just going to play it out. But after this game, he will go on the disabled list. On the replay, Paul Molitor is hitting .408, 6 home runs, and 23 driven in. So definitely living up to expectations, I would say. Got our Oakland A color dice. Hopefully, I got changed out this is a new green D20 from the one I had last night. So hopefully this one does better. We shall see, depending on what your definition of better is. And we're underway from Oakland. 2-7 for Molitor, and that is a base on balls. So Molitor will draw the base on balls. And with a +3 pitcher catcher hold quotient, he's definitely looking to get the lead. He needs a 4, 5, or 6 to get that lead. 6, he gets the lead, so he will go. He's a 19, being held makes him 17. The +3 makes it a 20, so you're pretty much turning it into a 1 to 19 safe. 20, he's out. And he's going to be safe. Stolen base for Molitor. So let's give Molitor the base on balls and the stolen base. That is stolen base number 9 for Molitor, by the way. 6 homers, 23 runs driven in, and 76 at-bats. That's his 17th walk also, and his 9th stolen base. So Molitor is at second base with nobody out, and Robin Yount, your batter. Molitor is being held at second base. It's a 6-4, and it's a fly ball center field X. That is Javier. He's a 2 E7. 2 and a 5, that could be trouble for an outfielder. A 2 and a 5 is an F2. So Molitor might be looking to run to third on the tag up. We shall see. His error rating is a E7. So he's got to avoid 3, 4, 15, 17, and 18. And that is a 13, so he's good to go there. No error. But the F2 says a run on second may tag up and try to advance. So that's what we're looking at now. Javier's arm is a -1. Molitor is a 17, so that's a 16. 1 to 16, and he's going to get there. And he does, just under the tag. So Molitor will take second or take third on the throw, as that ball was deep enough to get him over to third base with only one out, which is big, because now he could score on a ground out, sacrifice, error, wild pitch, any of that sort of stuff. Hello, Ron and Tascuni. Good to see you. Glenn, no brags, just facts, will step to the plate. He's hitting .295, 2 homers, 17 driven in. Infield is back. They want to avoid the big inning. Actually, you know what? La Russa has changed his mind and told his troops to get the infield in. 410. 410's a ground. It's a ballpark single check, actually. It's a 1 to 3, but that's a 2. Boy, this D20 is just as bad as the one last night. We got a base hit. Didn't matter about him being in or out. It's a base hit for Braggs, and the Brewers lead it 1-0. Braggs, he's on there. He's looking to get the lead. Needs a 5 or a 6. Does not get the lead, so he will hold at first base. And that brings up Greg Brock, first baseman. Brock hitting .358, a homer and 15 driven in. Plunk to Brock. 6-7 to the left-hander is a ground ball, second base X, with the lefty up. Shortstop's doing the holding, not the second baseman. So second baseman Phillips is going to keep his 4E21, despite the fact that 4 is not very good. 4 and a 20, though, that's going to be a double play chance. No matter how bad you are, if you roll a 20, you get that G1. Even if you're a 5, you get the G1 on a 20. So it's possible double play, but he's got to avoid E21. That could come up and bite him. E21, he's got to avoid 4, 13, and 17. Not so much worried about the 4 or the 17, but the 13 definitely comes up a lot. He's got to avoid that 13, and he does. So it'll be a double play. It'll be a 4-6-3 to end the inning. Came one batter too late, but at least they don't suffer any further damage. At the end of and half an inning of play, it's Milwaukee 1 and Oakland coming to bat. And left-hander Teddy Higuera. Left-hander Teddy Higuera will be on the mound for the Brewers. And in 1987 real world, he won 18 games. It was 18-10. On the replay, he is 2-1 with an ERA of 4.73. 27 innings pitched, 28 hits, 10 walks, and 26 strikeouts. All right, so Tony Phillips will lead things off for the Oakland A's against Mr. Higuera. Phillips hitting .247, 2 homers, 9 driven in, switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a .310 against the lefty, and that's a single for Tony Phillips. So Phillips starts out Oakland's day with a base hit, looking to get the lead. It would be a 2 or a 6 through 8. If you roll a 10, he's automatically out. It's a 7, so he gets the lead. 15, but he holds a 13. So it's a 1 to 13. He steals it. And Phillips, let's check his numbers on the replay. Phillips has 3 stolen bases. He's going for stolen base number 4 right here. He needs a 1 to 13. And he's in there. Stolen base for Phillips. That's number 4 on the stolen bases for Mr. Phillips. He will be at second base with nobody out for Alfredo Griffin. Griffin is hitting .250. No homers, 3 driven in. Switch hitter. Again, batting right-handed. 1-8, and that's a 1 for a triple. 2 to 20 is a single. That's a base hit with 2 stars. That will score the run and tie the game. So Oakland manufacturing runs too with some small ball. And we have a tie score at 1 apiece. They've gotten to Higuera early here. Griffin, he's looking to get the lead as well. 2 through 10, he almost guarantees him to get the lead. But 11, he does not get the lead, so it's not a guarantee. How about that? That's what I get for thinking too far ahead. Here's Carney Lansford. He is playing first base in this game, giving McGuire the day. In fact, McGuire's in right field. So it's kind of mixed up lineup, and Gallegos at third. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag for Oakland. Carney Lansford's hitting 300, 2 homers and 16 driven in. It's a 1-4. That's a ballpark single check as well, 1-3, but that's a 15. So 1-4. It's a line out to first base as Brock snags it. 1 down, and that will take us to Mr. Jose Canseco back in the outfield. He had been DH in a while, but now he is back in the outfield where he belongs. Back in left field where he belongs. It's the only outfield he played was left field. Always knew Canseco was out in left field. Now this confirms it. All right, 257, 5 homers, 10 driven in for Mr. Canseco. 6-6 against the right-hander. It's a 1-4 single, 5-20 lines to short. That's a liner to short, 2 down. So Higuera trying to get out of it with minimal damage. And now the Penguin, Ron Cey, in his last season in professional baseball, or at least in major leagues, he is the DH in this game. And Cey, in very limited duty, is hitting .077, 1 for 13. No homers or runs driven in, obviously. It's a 1-9. He's going to strike out, and that's going to end the inning. But Oakland gets the run to match that of Milwaukee at the end of 1 complete. We are tied at 1 apiece. And Eric Plunk back out. He will be facing Deere, Cooper, and Schroeder for the Brew Crew. Start the top of the second. And Deere is hitting .279, 4 homers, 15 driven in. 4-6 for Plunk is a leadoff walk. Deere will have to be held because he does have the asterisk there. He's going to try to get the lead. He needs a 7 to do it. Won't get it. But he will definitely be held on, or he would get the lead automatically. So here's DH Cecil Cooper. I believe this is his final season as well. Hitting .245, 4 homers, 11 driven in. 5-12 lefty, ground ball pitcher B. That's going to be a fielder's choice, 1-6. As they get the lead runner, Deere, at second base. But no chance to get Cooper. Ball was hit too slow. Even the slow-running Cooper beat that out. So here's the catcher, Schroeder. He's hitting .256, no homers and 6 driven in against Plunk. That's a 5-6, and that's a split chance. 1-3 is a single. Anything else he lines to short. That is a liner to short, 2 down. So now it's going to be up to Dale Swain, switch hitting shortstop. If the Brewers are going to score anything this inning. He's hitting .254, a homer and 9 driven in. 5-9 to the lefty hitter. Switch hitter batting left, 5-9. It's a triangle chance again. 1-4 is a single. Anything else he lines to second. That's a 16. So I'm going to say he grounds to second. I'm going to keep the original roll just to limit those line outs and get some variety in the out results when it doesn't matter. Doesn't affect any base running. The inning's over, so it doesn't really matter. Now, if there were less than 2 outs, I wouldn't have done it because that would have moved the runner to second. I would not have done that. So only doing it when it makes sense to do it. All right, Higuera back out. And McGuire in right field where he is a 4, a +2, and an E16. Don't know how many games he played in right field in real world, but he's there today. Hitting .224, 2 homers, 5 driven in. It's a 3-6, and he's going to draw the base on balls to start us off. First walk issued by Higuera. And McGuire, of course, will not be held, will not try any monkey business. Here's the catcher, Steinbach. He's hitting .326, 2 homers, and both his RBIs came off the 2 homers. If you're looking to turn 2. 6-8, but it gets a strikeout, which is almost as good. Second strikeout for Higuera. And Steinbach will take a seat. Center fielder Stan Javier, switch hitter, hitting 200 in 30 at-bats. And that's going to be a homer and 3 runs driven in. Hello, Kenyon. Good to see you. 1-4, and that is a ground ball third base B. It's a fielder's choice. They'll get McGuire out at second, 5-4, and Javier will be the new runner. But that means Javier might be looking to steal a base, get the scoring position with 2 outs. 2 or 4 through 6, he's safe. A 12, he's out. 6 means he's going to get the lead, so it's a 15, being held as a 13. Pitcher catcher is a 0. So 1-13, he makes it. And he does. Stolen base for Javier. So Javier will steal second base. He gets himself into scoring position with 2 outs for number 9 hitter Mike Gallego. Gallego only has 8 at-bats. He's 1 for 8, which is a 125 average. No homers and 1 driven in. Higuera to Gallego. 6-8. That's a strikeout to end the inning. Strikeout number 3 for Higuera. And we go through 2 innings. The score still tied, 1 apiece. Oops, sorry about that. Didn't mean to hit the old stand there and shake things up like it's an Oakland earthquake or something. Let's make sure we're not. I think they got bumped a little bit, so let's bring that back just a tad. Don't want anything cut off. So Plunk has a 5 fatigue, Higuera a 7. Keep that in mind for future reference. Jim Gantner will lead things off. Jimmy Gantner. Gantner on the replay, hitting .352, no homers, 4 driven in. It's a 1-8 for Gantner. He's going to improve that average. That's going to be a single. Leadoff single for Gantner. He continues his hot hitting. He needs a 7 to get the lead. Does not get it, so he will hold. And we'll switch back over to Molitor. Walk, stole second, and scored his first time up. 5-7, and that is another walk by Eric Plunk. That is the 3rd walk issued by Plunk. Not what you want to do to the Brewers. Now you got the big boys coming up, Yount, Braggs, and Brock. Plunk could use another one of those double plays right about now. 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball chance, and pass ball rating on Steinbach is a 7. Will not be a pass ball. He blocked it. So here we go. 5-6, and that is again, that triangle result. 4-20 is a line out to short, and that's 1 away. 1 down, and that's going to take us to Glenn Braggs. He had the RBI single his first time up. 6-11, that's a ballpark single chance, but it's only 1-3, but that's a 1. There you go. The evil D20 did it again, and that's going to load the bases. It all depends on who you're rooting for, too, is whether it's evil or not. But you think when you're only a 1-3, you're most likely going to get an out, but not now. Bases are loaded for Greg Brock. Only 1 out. Greg Brock does have some ground ball A's. They will play back for the double play. Plunk to Brock. 5-8, and that's a strikeout, and a big one, too, for Eric Plunk. That's his first strikeout, and what a time to get it. That 5-8 result strikes him out, and now Rob Deere in a clutch situation with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And in the clutch, he has no effect. I'm sorry, he gets 1 extra hit, 3-2. He gets a hit. Instead of a strikeout, he would get a hit on a 3-2. Otherwise, it's not. Now, it's a 2, so chance of a balk or a pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball again. It's a 1-7. Fortini blocks it again, so Steinbach being tough back there with the block. 1-8 for Deere, struck him out, and that's going to end the inning. So what a time for Plunk to get those 2 strikeouts First two of the game. And that gets him out of the jam. We go to the bottom of the third, still tied at 1. Back to the top of the order for Oakland, Tony Phillips. It'll be Phillips, Griffin, and Lansford due up. I think I went the wrong way with that, didn't I? Let's go this way. Make sure the dice tray doesn't get cut off here. There we go. Maybe went too far. Let's fix it again. Try to get it somewhere in between. All right. I think that'll do it. Here is Phillips. Singled, stole second, and scored his first time up. 5-5. Switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a 1 for a triple. Anything else is a single. So yet another hit for Tony Phillips. Doing what a leadoff guy is supposed to do. And again, he's looking to get the lead. 2 or a 6, 7, 8 gets him the lead. 10, he's out. 10, he's out. He got caught stealing or picked off. I call it picked off. Doesn't really matter. I call it picked off. You can really, he's out. It really doesn't matter how you denote it per se. But I just like to do it. My little homebrew is that he's picked off. All right. Because it's getting the lead. It's not trying to steal. He's trying to get the lead, and that's when he's out. So to me, that's a pickoff. All right, so he's out of there. Here's Higuera to Griffin for 12. That is a ground ball back to Higuera. Easy play. Quickly 2 down. So the pickoff kind of took out the starch of the A's potential rally. And here is Carney Lansford. 3-4, and he's going to pop it up to Swain at short. And that's going to do it. 3 innings are in the books, and we still got a 1-1 ball game. Tell you, it was weird. We had that one game, Detroit and California. It was low scoring. It was nip and tuck. And then last night we have Boston, Seattle, and runs are all over the place. And now we're back to a pitching game again. You never know what you're going to get on Strat. The dice can do what they want to do. Here's Cecil Cooper. 3-10, and that is a split chance. 1-3, it's a single. Anything else he lines to short. That's a 2, so that D20 comes up again. Really no number. Gives him a single. Cooper will not be held, obviously. He's not much of a runner. Brings up Schroeder. 5-11, and that is a fly ball left field X. That is Canseco. He's a 3. See if he can get to it. 3-20, he definitely will. He's got to worry about an E9 for Canseco. So we'll check out his E9. And he's got to avoid basically, I don't really count 3 and 18. They hardly ever come up. But 16 and 11 are the ones we're really looking at. And that is a 12. So he just did avoid it. 11 almost got him, but that's a 12. So Canseco will make the play. 1 down. And now that will send up Dale Swain. That's a 3-3. Make sure that showed up. Yeah, it still did. 3-3 for Swain is a 1-19 home run. It definitely showed up, and there's a 3. So there it's gone. Look at it again. 3-3. He gets a home run on a 1-19, a triple on a 20, and that is a 3. So it's a 2-run home run for Dale Swain. And the Brewers are back out on top 3-1. So for Swain, that is home run number 2, RBIs 10 and 11 on the season. And the Brewers take a 3-1 lead. That'll bring up Gantner. It's a 4-3, and that's a walk. 4th walk issued by Plunk. He may not last too long in this game. The Oakland bullpen's already starting to stir down there. Gene Full Nelson loosening in the pen. Here's Molitor. 1-7, and that's a straight out double to right field. And McGuire's got a +2 arm, so it's a good chance to send Gantner. Although he was being held, he would run a 12. That would be a 1-14 with one out. A 1-14 is a pretty good odds to send him. So they're going to send him 1-14. Molitor will take third on the throw regardless. And he's in there. So an RBI double for Molitor. He will take third on the throw. The bad throw by McGuire, that is. And it is now 4-1 favor of Milwaukee. And Plunk is pretty much on his last leg. He is not doing well at all. Infield has come in for the A's, facing, and that's a 1 chance of a wild pitch. His wild pitch rating is an 11. 1-11, he's going to bring Molitor home. He does. It's a wild pitch. It's going to bring him home. That makes it 5-1. 5-1. Bases are now clear with one out, but 3 runs are in. Actually, 4 runs are in. 3-8 for Yount. He's going to ground it to short. 2 down. And as it turned out, that would have been a hit because it was a plus sign there. So with the infield in, that would have been a base hit anyway. So he would have scored regardless. Not that that's any consolation prize, but just a notation. Here's Braggs with 2 outs, 2-8. He's going to ground to short again to end the inning. But a Abraham Lincoln 4-score inning does it for the Brew Crew. And they take a 5-1 lead. And with Higuera on the mound, that's pretty commanding. We may not get Gene Nelson now since it's not that close of a game. They may go to some of their lesser relievers. We shall see. For now, though, Jose Canseco will lead it off, followed by Say and McGuire. It's a 3-6, and that's a straight-up home run for Jose Canseco. Home run, number 6, RBI number 11. There it is, the 3-6 against left-hander, big bold letters, home run. And Jose Canseco chips away at the lead with a solo shot. That is his 6th home run of the season. I forgot to put Swain's was his 2nd. For Canseco, cuts the lead to 5-2. For the A's, unfortunately, there was no one on base. So here's Ron Say. 2-8, and he's going to draw a walk. Of course, he won't go anywhere. And here's McGuire. One swing of the bat. They really make this an interesting game. Higuera to McGuire, who walked his first chance. 6-4. That is a ground ball third base X, potential double play, but Molitor is a 4, so it's also a potential base hit. That's a 9. 4 and a 9 for an infielder is going to be questionable. 4 and a 9 is a G3 pound, but he's not responsible for holding the runner, so the pound's irrelevant. It's just going to be a G3. It will advance the runner. Now the question is, will there be an error on top of it? He's an E22. Whoops, wrong side. He's an E22, so he's got to avoid 12, 14, 16, 15, and 18. So all those teen numbers. He needs low numbers here. And he gets it with an 11, just barely. E22, a 12 was an error, but not an 11. So the play was made, but the only play was to first base, so it's going to go 5-3 with Say taking second base. 1 down, and Terry Steinbach is your batter. With Say at second base, who does not run well at all. He runs at an 8, one of the slowest runners in the league. So it's going to take some doing to get him home. 1-4, that's a fly ball center field B. 2 down. Of course, Say has no thoughts of doing anything. So with a clutch situation for Stan Javier, and against a lefty, he has an anti-clutch at 312. Everything else is neutral. That's a 112. That's a foul out to Schroeder behind the plate, and the A's get the home run from Canseco, but that's it. It's a 5-2 game after 4 innings. I was talking about a pitching duel, and all of a sudden we get 5 runs in 1 inning. So maybe I spoke too soon. Now let's look at the A's bullpen. They may be going to some relief pitching as Plunk has struggled. They're going to go to left-hander Dave Leeper. So Dave Leeper, a left-hander, will be coming on to replace Eric Plunk. And we'll get the numbers on Leeper, and we'll get the final numbers on Plunk. The box score, so I don't have to do any math. They said they promised there would be no math. So Plunk goes 4 innings, gives up 6 hits, 5 runs. They were all earned. 4 walks and 2 strikeouts, and he's on the hook to take the loss. And lefty on lefty matchup, Leeper against Brock. Leeper is a -6 hold, so that's going to definitely make this a -5. So that will tone down the run game significantly. On the replay for Leeper, he is 1-0 with no saves, a 2.08 earned run average. Only has 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. Lefty on lefty against Greg Brock. It's a 2-6. And that's a ground ball to short. Taken by Griffin. 1 down, and the last 3 outs have been ground balls to short. Here's Rob Deere. 110 for Deere against the lefty. He's going to fly it to left field. Canseco is there. 2 down. And that brings up Cooper. 6-8, and he's going to strike out. So Leeper, a 1-2-3, 5th inning. He will come back out for another inning, obviously. He has fatigue of 2 on his card, so he can pitch multiple innings. And they're going to probably need him to pitch multiple innings. And that brings up Gallego to start the inning. Mr. Chris, good to see you. I've got the rosters on the Strat computer to tell me who's available, and then at that point I look at who's pitched the most and who needs some innings of work, and look at the game situation. Saw 2 left-handers out of 3, so I made what I thought was the obvious decision to bring in the left-hander. So that's how I decided on Leeper. I went through that process. I looked at the roster, saw who was available, saw a lefty was available in Leeper. Saw that the 2 of the 3 batters were left-handed, and there I brought Leeper in, and that was the thought process. But I use a Strat computer because that tells me who's active and who's not, because I am scoring the game on the computer as I'm playing it. Yes, Ben, in this I am very structured. In real world, I am not so structured. But in this, I like to be meticulous and structured. Now, in History Maker Baseball, that's a whole nother world. I'm freelancing it, do what the hell I want. But in Strat, I want to keep it, to me, Strat-O-Matic is the nerdy game, so I want to keep it nerdy and straight. So, all right, here's Gallego. 4-8 against the right-hander. That's a strikeout for Higuera. As Gallego is out of there. 1 down for Phillips. He singled twice. He stole a base. He got picked off. So 1-8, he will draw the base on balls, and he may tempt fate again. Needs that 2, 6 through 8, or a 10. Or a 10, he gets caught, I should say. That's a 4. He does not get the lead, so he will just hold. And that brings up Alfredo Griffin. Thank you, Mr. Chris. I appreciate that. I'm having fun. I'm hoping everybody else is enjoying it as well. You guys are the reason I'm doing it. I could do this offline by myself, but it wouldn't be quite as fun. 4-9, switch hitter is a walk. So first and second with only 1 out for Carney Lansford. Lansford's 0 for 2. against Higuera. 3-10, and that's a ground ball shortstop A. It'll turn the double play. 6-4-3 to end the inning. And what a rally killer that was for the A's. Twin killing takes it out of there. We go to the 6th. It's still 5-2. Favor of the Brew Crew. Leaper back out. He'll be facing Schroeder, Swain, and Gantner. So we got right, switch, and left. 4-10 against a right-hander. It's a fly ball center field X. That is Javier. He's a 2. 2-16. He'll get to it. He's an E7, and as we saw before, but just as a reminder, on an E7, he's got to avoid 3, 4, 15, 17, and 18. And he does. So it's good play for Javier. Retired Schroeder. 1 down for Dale Swain. He will now turn around and bat right-handed against the lefty. He's had 2 at-bats. He homered against the right-hander Plunk last time. So now he has to turn around and bat the other way. 3-11. He gets a ballpark single check, which is a 1-3, but that's a 12. So that will be a line out to short. Actually, I'm going to say lines to third just to mix it up a bit. There's so many line outs to short. Just want to mix it up once in a while. All right, so here's Gantner, lefty on lefty matchup for Leaper. And if he gets through this, he will have pitched 2 shutout innings because they're not going to let him face Molitor out. 2-4 for Gantner, and he pops him up to second. So 6 up and 6 down off of the bat or off the mound for Leaper. And he's going to pitch his 2 innings very well. Gets a strikeout. Everything else is a 0. And we'll see who Oakland's going to bring in the 7th. It might depend on if they close the gap or not. But it is all for Leaper. And Higuera back out will face Canseco, Say, and McGuire. Remember, Canseco homered off of him last time. Five, 6 against Higuera is a 1-12 double. That's a 17, though, so it's just a deep fly to left for Canseco. And now Canseco is mad at the D20, saying, how come you've got low numbers early in the game, and now all of a sudden you're running high numbers? So here's Say. He's struck out and walked. 4-8. He's going to strike out again. There's a dot there, but Higuera's not in his fatigue inning, so he's still good. 2 down for McGuire. McGuire has walked and grounded to third. 6-7, and that's a strikeout. So another strikeout for Higuera. And a 1-2-3 inning once again for the Brewers. We go to the 7th. Score still remains the Brew Crew in the lead, 5-2. Higuera now has 6 strikeouts to go with 4 walks in the game. Now we'll go to the A's bullpen. And I will show you, actually, this time, Mr. Chris, who's available. We have Rick Rodriguez. We have Dennis Eckersley. We have Gene Nelson and Jay Howell from the right-hand side. And they do have one other lefty who's not very good, and he's not even carded by Strat. I had to print it off the computer, and that's Bill Kruger. So we're probably not going to use Kruger because there's right-handers coming up. So it's between these 4 guys. And so what I do is I look at the score, and obviously Jay Howell's their closer, so we're not going to use Jay Howell. And Dennis Eckersley is kind of their closer too, so I kind of eliminate him. So it's between these 2 guys. So let's see who's got the most, who needs the most work, who's tired, whatever the case may be. Let's see here. Nelson. Let's pitch 14 innings. Let's check on Rodriguez. It shows Rodriguez is being tired, so we're not going to use Rodriguez. So by default now, it's going to flip over to Gene Nelson. He's definitely the one that has been used the least. He's less than 100% of his projected numbers, So he is definitely going to be the guy coming in. Gene Full Nelson will get the call from the bullpen. So that's the thought process I go through, as I don't want to wear people out. We're playing a whole season replay, so I got to, I want to keep track of usage as much as I can. Not underused guys and not overused guys. So Nelson will be your pitcher. His hold is a -3, so -3. That'll still help with the run game. On the replay for Nelson, he is 1-0 with no saves, a 5.02 earned run average, 14 innings pitched, 19 hits, 8 walks, and 18 strikeouts. And he will be facing Paul Molitor. And on my score sheet, when I have a pitching change, I make this little symbol like that, just like I did right here when Leaper came in. So that's how I denote pitching changes. Nothing fancy, just a little note to remind myself that there was a pitching change occurring after the Gantner at bat. All right, so here is Molitor. 6-6 against Nelson is a 1-4 double. Anything else, he flies to center. That will be a fly out to center field. Javier makes the play. That'll bring up Robin Yount. He is 0 for 3. Very uncharacteristic. 3-5. He's not, well, he's still 0 for 3 because a walk doesn't really count. Just doesn't add an at bat to you. Now, does he want to get the lead because it is a -3, so it'd be a 1 to 11. Well, they're going to try it anyway. It'd still be a 55% chance. So they're going to see if he can get the lead. He needs a 5 or a 6. He does not get the lead, so it doesn't matter. And now here's Glenn Braggs. 1-6 struck him out. Nelson gets his first strikeout. And now here comes Greg Brock. (4-6). 1 to 19 is a single. So that's 1 star single, though. So Yount will have to stop at second base. Now it brings up a clutch situation for Rob Deere. Runners in scoring position with 2 outs. So clutch situation is invoked. And again, the only clutch he has is a hit on 3-2. Everything else is neutral. Nelson to Deere, trying to keep the A's in the game. 1-8 struck him out. He does just that. And we go to the 7th inning stretch here in Oakland with the score, Milwaukee 5 and Oakland 2. And this will be the fatigue inning for Ted Higuera. I don't know about Mac because I don't have one, so I don't know if Mac is something that can be used for Strat if they sell it for Mac. That I don't know. You'd have to check their website, or maybe somebody here knows for sure, but I do not know one way or the other, so I don't want to say without being accurate. But it'd be nice if they did. I mean, now they're doing, with Baseball Max, you can use your iPad or a tablet or phone or whatever, like an app. So it would be nice. It would be nice if, you could somehow play the game itself on your mobile device. But I guess then they couldn't control the key codes and all this other stuff, and probably, I don't know, it's probably something they don't want to go down. So, all right, Higuera to Steinbach. 6-7, and that is another strikeout for Higuera. I believe that's 7 strikeouts for Higuera now. Ben, I will be using Digital Diamond to autoplay and input the stats on the game of the week for 1978 season ticket baseball. I'll be simming the games I don't play, and I'll input the stat of the game I do play. But I will be using Digital Diamond for that. Here's Javier. 3-8 against the left-hander. It's a ground ball to Swain at shortstop. That's 2 away. And that'll send it to Mike Gallego We are in the 7th, so we could pinch hit, but Gallego's pretty decent against lefties, so we'll leave him in there despite striking out twice. So 310, and he gets a base hit for it. There is a Omega there for anti-clutch, but nobody's on base. So there are 2 outs, but since no one's on base, it's not clutch. So it's just going to be a base hit. We ignore the Omega at that point. So Gallego is aboard with 2 outs, and here comes Tony Phillips. He's reached base all 3 times. 2 singles, a walk, and a stolen base. 3-6, and he's going to get a single. That's two asterisks there, or as Jeffrey Guterman says, 2 asteroids. And that's going to put runners on the corners with 2 outs. And now the tying run is at the plate in Alfredo Griffin. Now, do they pinch hit for Griffin? He's a 263 hitter, but you could be looking for somebody with some power. So let's look on their bench and see who is available. And I will show you who's available. They have, from the left side of the plate, most of these are lefties because Higuera is a lefty starter. Luis Polonia, Reggie Jackson, and Mike Davis, and they have a switch hitter in Mickey Tettleton. So those are the guys they have available. And if they wanted to, the problem is if they want to bring in somebody for Griffin, I don't think they have anybody to play shortstop because all these guys are outfielders and, the catcher. I guess what they could do, actually what they could do is move Lansford. They could put Lansford at third, back to third where he belongs, put Tettleton at first. That's a possibility. So I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to think outside the box. Despite being a DH league, you can still manage if you want to. So just like that song, you can dance if you want to. You can manage if you want to in this. So we are going to have a pinch hitter, Mickey Tettleton. He will pinch hit in the 7th and take over at first base in the 8th. And Lansford will go to third base in the 8th. So that's what we will do. That keeps the 3 lefties on the bench. So if they bring in a right-handed reliever, they got some pop off the bench to try to help them. But Alfredo Griffin's day is done. So Mickey Tettleton, we'll get the numbers on Tettleton real quick. Numbers on Tettleton. He enters the game hitting .229, but he does have 4 home runs and 35 at-bats. That's why he's in there. Yes, I'm sorry, Gallego will move to short. You were correct. I forgot to make that final mention, but yes, Gallego is not a very good shortstop, 3.48, but he will be the shortstop. So Mickey Tettleton against Higuera in a clutch situation. And in the clutch, he gains a hit on 211 against lefties. So he gets an extra boost there. Got a decent column 1 as well. Higuera to Mickey Tettleton. That's a 210, and that's a fly to center. So Tettleton fails in the clutch. But they had to try something. So Tettleton will stay in the game, play first base. Lansford goes to third. And Gallego will go to short. So I'm going to have to make all those moves on the computer now so that everything is up to speed. So Gallego moves from third base to shortstop. Lansford moves from first base to third base, and Mickey Tettleton takes over as the new first baseman. Those are your changes. And for now, Higuera will pitch the 8th as well. We shall see. For the Oh, actually, we're running out of room here, so I'll put these guys over here. Cecil Cooper will lead it off against Gene Nelson in the top of the 8th. Hello, Captain. Good to see you. Cooper, top of the 8th. 5-2 Brew Crew. Second inning of work for Gene Nelson. He's got a relief rating of 3, so he can actually finish the game if he's effective. That's kind of Oakland's plan. 4-8, and that's a strikeout. There's a dot there, but obviously he's not tired yet. So, strikeout for Cecil Cooper. One away, and that will take us to Bill Schroeder, the catcher. That's a 6-6, right-handed. 1-4 is a double, but that's a 10, so he flies to center field. And that's out number 2. 2 down, and Dale Swain is your batter. 3-9 for Swain. 1-10 is a single. That's a 3, so Swain will get a 2-out single. Keeps the inning going. And turn it over to Jim Gantner. Swain will not be held. Not a very good base stealer. So Gantner is up. 3-8 for Gantner. 1-8 is a single. That's a 5, so another single. So these innocent-looking singles with 2 outs keep the inning going. And now all of a sudden you got Molitor up with the runner in scoring position. So Nelson kind of put himself in a bad situation. It is a clutch situation for Molitor. He gets a hit on 3-10 on the clutch. Other than that, he's neutral. He does get the extra hit on 3-10. And it's a 3-11. He just missed it, but that's a ballpark blast. 1-5. That's a 9, though, so he just misses it. It's a fly ball to left, and it keeps Oakland in the ball game. Boy, almost got that 3-10, which would have been a RBI single, but deep fly to left. Home run's only 1-5, and that's a 9. So Nelson gets through it, and we go to the bottom of the 8th. Still 5-2. And up for the A's will be Lansford, Canseco, and probably a pinch hitter for Say. Although he is right-handed, so it's kind of hard to bring a lefty in to pinch hit against Higuera. That kind of goes against conventional wisdom. Here's Lansford, 5-5, and that's a 1 for a triple. Anything else for a single, so it's an RBI single for Carney Lansford. And down by 3, the A's are not going to try any sort of running. They don't want to run themselves out of any inning. They will hold Lansford on for the Brewers. They just don't give him second base. Here's Canseco. 4-9. That's a walk. So now Higuera may be in need of some relief. In fact, the computer now has designated him as tired, which makes sense because he gave up 2 hits here and 2 hits here. So 4 hits over 2 innings. Once you reach fatigue, you are now tired. But they're going to let him face Ron Say because if they bring in a righty, the A's are going to bring in a lefty relief pinch hitter. So they will hold off on a relief pitcher until one more batter. And if you're curious who the Brewers have for relief available to them, Chris Bosio, the right-hander, Chuck Krim, a right-hander, and Mark Clear, a right-hander, and 2 left-handers, Paul Mirabella and the closer, Dan Plesac. That's who's available. But right now, they're going to let him face Ron Say because if you bring in a righty to face Say, they're going to bring in a lefty, a much better hitter off the bench. So to keep Say in the game, they're going to leave a tired Higuera out there. 5-2, fly ball center field. It worked. So Yount makes the play. 1 down. And now McGuire is up, so that's going to be a call to the bullpen for the Brew Crew. With the tying run at the plate and a home run hitter in McGuire, they do not want Higuera to face McGuire. They're going to bring in a right-hander to face him. And we'll see who that right-hander is going to be based on who might be tired and who might be available. Krim is designated as tired, so he will not be in there. So it looks like it's going to be Mark Clear. Mark Crystal Clear will be coming on to face McGuire. So Mark Clear it is. Don't know if he was the clear choice or not, but he is right now. Does turn to a +2 for the pitcher-catcher hold interface. And on the replay, Mark Clear is 1-1 with no saves, an ERA of an even 2. 9 innings pitched, 2 runs allowed, 6 hits, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts. So not bad in relief. But now he's got to face Mark McGuire. Tough situation to be in, to face McGuire. with first and second and one out. Clear to Higuera. 6-9 struck him out, so obviously he was a clear choice in that at bat as he strikes out Higuera. In case you were curious, a 6-9 for Higuera would have been a ground ball second base C, so it would have been an out. The runners would have advanced, but would not have been a strikeout. Now here's Steinbach, clutch situation. And against a right-hander in the clutch, he is completely, he loses one hit on 211. Everything else, he's neutral. So clear to Steinbach. It's a 2-10, and that's a ground ball to third base A. We're going to call it a 5-4 fielder's choice because it would have started a double play with less than 2 outs. So Molitor fires over to Gantner for the force, and that's going to end the inning. The A's will leave 2 more guys on base. And we go to the 9th. It is 5-2 in favor of the Brew Crew. Now that the inning's over, we get the final numbers on Higuera as he goes 7 1/3 innings. Gives up 7 hits, 2 runs. They were both earned. Walked 5, struck out 7. Clear is going to go 2/3 of an inning and give up nothing with a strikeout. So he certainly did his job, and they are letting Plesac warm up in their bullpen to pitch the 9th. Now, if for some reason the Brewers get a couple runs in the 9th and it's no longer a save situation, they may leave Clear in the game. We shall see. All right, so Robin Yount will lead things off against Gene Nelson. It'll be Yount, Braggs, and Brock due up in the top of the 9th of a 5-2 game. Six, 7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X, and that's the new shortstop Gallego. So let's get his numbers as a shortstop. Gallego at shortstop is a 3.48. The 3 is okay. It's the 48 that's might be a problem. 3 3, though, that might be a problem too. He may be having double problems. 3 3 is a base hit. Now we got to look at E48. And E48, he's got to avoid 6, 12, 15, 3, 16, and 18. And that's an 8, so he's okay there. But it will be a base hit. It sneaks by him. So Yount sneaks it by Gallego for a base hit. And with Nelson's -3 hold combination, Yount will just stay put at first base. Here's Glenn Braggs. 2-6 for Braggs. Ground ball to short. That's going to be a double play. 6-4-3. That certainly helps Oakland out. 2 down, bases clear for Greg Brock. Nelson trying to pitch 3 innings of relief. 3 innings of shutout relief, no less. 3-9, but he can't get it done just yet. That's a base hit for Brock. Now that double play looms really big. And here's Rob Deere. Deere in the clutch again. That 3-2 result is going to be a base hit. 1-8, though, is a strikeout, and that's going to, whoops, down here. Or up here, I should say. So that's going to end the inning. And we go to the bottom of the 9th, and it will be Dan Plesac coming on to pitch for the Brewers. As he is looking for the save. Get the numbers on Nelson. Nelson went 3 innings. Gave up 5 hits. He scattered 5 hits, but gave up no runs, which was the most important. 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. So nice job of relief for Mr. Nelson. Of course, he will not be available in tomorrow's game. He's going to need some rest. So we'll definitely make a note of that. But now we go to the Brewers bullpen and find their closer, Dan Plesac. He is a -2 hold. So with Schroeder being a +1. That makes him a -1. I don't think Oakland's going to run 3 runs down, but you never know. They might feel frisky once in a while. So bottom of the 9th we go, and Mr. Plesac coming on. Dan Plesac on the replay is 1-0 with 4 saves. He's got an ERA of 0. 7 innings pitched, no runs allowed, only 1 hit allowed, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. So he's I'm not saying he's automatic, but he's pretty good. He'll be facing Javier Gallego and Phillips. And again, it keeps those lefties on the bench at bay. 5-11, switch hitter batting right-handed is a ballpark blast. 1-5, that's a 4, but he has weak power, so it's only going to be a base hit. It would not be a home run because he has weak power. So base hit for Javier, and he will stand pat, and here's Gallego. Plesac to Gallego. 3-7, and that's a double to center field by Gallego. And all of a sudden, first 2 guys are on, and Brewers are going, what the heck's happening to Plesac? Second and third, nobody out. And Tony Phillips, your batter, of course, they're going to play back to get the outs. They don't worry about 1 run scoring. So they will play back for the out. 3-7, and that's a walk. It's going to load the bases. So how about that? Plesac. A walk to load the bases, and now here's Mickey Tettleton. Remember, he took over at the shortstop at first base for Griffin, so it's actually Tettleton's turn at bat. Bases loaded, nobody out. Infield looking to turn 2. That's a 1-6, and it's a 1-3 single. 19 is a liner to short, so everybody holds on the line out to short. That will now bring up Lansford, and on deck is Mr. Canseco. So the guys, Oakland, if you're an Oakland fan, these are the guys you want up there against Plesac. That's a 2, so it's a chance of a balk or a pass ball. We're looking at a chance of a pass ball on Schroeder. His pass ball rating's a 2, so no pass ball. So Plesac to Lansford, 2-10. That's a hit by pitch. He's going to force in a run on a hit by pitch. Scoring will be Javier. And the bases are loaded with 1 out for Jose Canseco of now a 5-3 game. Tying run is in scoring position. And that runner is Phillips, and he runs pretty well to 15. So base hit could tie this game. But Plesac's your closer. You got to go with him. 1-9, and that's a 1 home run. 11's a double, or 2 through 20 is a double. That's an 11. This could be a walk-off double, possibly. We know 2 runs are going to score to tie the game. Tettleton is your runner at first. He runs at only a 10. The hit was the center field, which is Mulder's a +2, makes him a 12. 1-12, he was not being held, makes him a 13. 1-13, you could walk it off or keep second and third with only 1 out. Boy, it's tempting to go on that 1-13 to end the game. They're going to go. They want Canseco to be the hero. They're sending Tettleton. Canseco will take third on the overthrow regardless. If he's out, he's still going to be at third base. But it's a 1-13, and the game is over. It's over. Canseco, a bases-loaded double off of the closer, no less, Dan Plesac. And boy, talk about blowing the save big time. He just did. Unbelievable. A walk-off bases-loaded double for Jose Canseco. And the Oakland A's come back to win it by the score of 6-5 with 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Everybody's mobbing Canseco. And boy, the guy you feel bad for is Higuera. He pitched very, very well and deserved a better fate. but he gets a no decision. It does take Plunk off the hook, and Nelson will get the win. So Nelson goes to 2-0 with that win. And Plesac blows the save and drops to 1-1. He only pitched a third of an inning, gave up 3 hits and 4 runs with a walk and a hit by pitch. And his ERA has skyrocketed to 4.91 now. But for the A's, 6 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. For the Brewers, 5 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. And obviously, Milwaukee feels like to let one get away. They dropped to 14-6. The A's are now 16-6. So the A's have the best record in the league right now at 16-6. So if you want to give a player of the game, you have to give it to Canseco. He had 4 runs driven in. So Canseco had a home run here in the 4th, and then he drove in all 3 runs there. So home run and a double, 4 runs driven in. Clear-cut player of the game, Mr. Jose Canseco. So Canseco is the man, and the A's win it. And that wraps up April 29th states. And we move on to April 30th, last game of April. And there's only 3 games on the schedule because April 30th is a Thursday. And typically back then, Thursday were travel days for a lot of teams. But the 3 West Coast games will occur on the 30th. We'll have Milwaukee at Oakland, Boston at Seattle, and Detroit at California. Those will be the games that will be scheduled. In fact, the next game up will be Detroit at California on April the 30th. And that pitching matchup will be Jack Morris against Willie Frazier. Bruce Hurst will face Scott Bankhead in Seattle, and Bill Wegman will take on Dave Stewart in Oakland. Those will be the 3 games to finish out the month of April. Once the month of April is done, then I'll do a little short video of stat recap for the month. And it won't be a game, just be a short, maybe 10-minute video, just going over the league leaders and things like that, trends, league leaders, whatever the case may be, updated transactions, any major ones, and then we'll go on from there. So, again, I thought the Brewers had it locked when they brought in Plesac, but boy, that's why you roll the dice. I always say it. That's why you roll the dice. So later today, I'm going to try to record the History Maker game between the Mets and the Reds to finish that series out, and hopefully post that sometime tonight or tomorrow. And then hopefully tomorrow night, perhaps, we'll play the Detroit and California game. Jack Morris against Willie Frazier in California at the Big A. So that's going to do it from here. I do appreciate everybody that spent part of your Saturday afternoon with me. And again, thanks to everybody, all the Strat fans out there. If you like Inside Pitch, I'm sure RJL will have an Inside Pitch game tonight for you to watch. Uncle Dave might have a chat going on. You never know. Beatles might have something going on. Al Red Sox fan might have something going on. A lot of guys out there that stream that might have something going on tonight. So Tribe Baseball, a Clee baseball fan, Utah Mike, all kinds of guys might have something going on tonight. So be sure to check those out if you are interested in the game they're playing, or even if you're not, just to show you that show support that you enjoy what they are doing. So that's going to do it from here. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.